Hey friends, so tonight's video is going to be kind of short. I just want to point out or just want to talk about some of the events that are happening because I think it's relevant. And I know Prepper Now has done a very good short video, about 7 minutes, not a live stream and not a short, but kind of like a mid-length video on the fact that the London airport had some kind of issue with their air traffic controls, with their communications. Basically, they had a boondoggle where planes and the air traffic control could not communicate. Now, in the last few months, we've seen Spain and Portugal completely lose their grid, which they say was a technical error. And it's happened before, but let's go follow me on down this path. Newark airport's been dropped offline twice. London airport has been dropped offline. We know that there have been other issues. Remember, the American Airlines and United flight control systems went down and they couldn't get people boarded on their aircraft. And they keep saying, oh, it's outdated equipment. It's was a software glitch. It was a software error. And folks, the more they do this, the more I'm struggling to really reconcile how can this continue happening in our airports. This is just really concerning because you think about it, unlike say 50, even 100 years ago, where vehicles, ground vehicles or trains were the primary way to get around the country. Let's face it, 99% of us, if we got to go any more than 4 or 5 hours, we're going to jump in an airplane. And to be fair, the airlines are the most safe route to take to go from A to B. If you compare it to like getting struck by lightning or getting killed in a car accident, trust me, airlines are much safer. But what I want to talk about today is, do you plan for that? Now, as a guy who travels as much or used to travel as much as I did, I keep watching this and it gives me the heebie-jeebies because I'm thinking to myself, holy crap, like folks are struggling to get from A to B and you're getting stuck in airports. We had another airport went down recently too. So what is my take? So this is a lot of issues. And being an aerospace engineer by my degree, even though I've been in a different industry for 30 years, I do follow the science of aerospace, aeronautics, space exploration, stuff like that, more as a hobby than anything. And this is disproportionate. I just don't remember seeing this many airports, this many power outages, this many issues, all sequentially one after the other. Now, as a few other channels have pointed out, they've been saying, oh, we're going to have a cyber attack, we're going to have this, we're going to have that, we're going to have shutdowns, etc. And so some of us say they're looking ahead. Some say it's predictive programming. Maybe it's a little bit of both. We don't know. But what I do know is that a lot of us don't have a choice but to get in an airplane to get from A to B because it just makes sense that way. You probably day to day have more risk in your vehicle driving from California to New York than jumping in an airplane and flying 4 hours. But if you're in the plane and you land, or you're in the airport and you're trying to get out and this kind of thing happens, what do you do? So here's some things I do when I travel, how my contingencies lay out. So when I make my trip, I reserve the hotels first. After I get the plane, I get a hotel. I always rent a car. Now, I may rent the cheapest ass thing. My company pays for like a standard, like a little Ford or a Toyota or something. But even if I'm going on my own with the family, unless it's a really strange country like the UK where I'm on the wrong side of the road where I could be a hazard to people, I always rent a car. It may not be big, but I'll rent a set of wheels. I've gone to Houston and Dallas. I've had to fly because it was a last minute thing. And even if I'm staying overnight, I rent the car overnight. Honest to God, you could get a small car, $40, $50 in most of the bigger cities. They sometimes give me an EV. I'm not a fan of those because if I have to drive across Texas in an EV, that's going to be a big pain in the ass. I got to drive across Texas in a normal, say a Toyota Camry or a Hyundai. That gets really good gas mileage. I can fill up and make it 3, 4, 5 hours before I have to stop and get more gas. So I always have a vehicle. When I get on my plane, I bring first aid kit and EDC that's appropriate for carry-on. As I've mentioned before, flashlight, first aid kit, snacks, and a water bottle, like a reusable bottle. It has to be empty going through. The minute I get through, I fill it up on the other side. So if you use like an ETA water filter bottle, which I use, I know a lot of guys use the Grail. The ETA is a plastic body. So for hiking and travel in airplanes, buses, and trains and vehicles, it's great. You can't cook in it. The Grail is a metal one. I don't have one. I have the ETAs. Hudson and Vision have talked about the Grails. They're a great product. It looks like I'm eventually going to get around to getting one. They're metal, so you can use them for cooking, but you have a weight penalty, right? And they're not that heavy from what I hear. But you have to kind of go with what you think is going to make sense, but have some kind of water device, a water carrying device. Now, if you can't get one, buy a big ass bottle of water and just keep it with you and keep refilling it. You know, the 1 liter water bottle from Aquafina or whatever the hell it is. Keep that with you. If you have to bail out of the airport, you can go to a restaurant, you can go to the corner store, you know, the CVS, the Kroger, whatever, any corner store that has a soda machine, and just say, hey, I just want to fill my bottle with water when I buy my Coke. And now you have a water and a Coke, right? I like to bring dry snacks, trail mix, Nutrient Survival has these little survival bars. They're really good. Hell, if you can't find that, just damn granola bars and Snickers. Now remember, chocolate will melt, so be smart with what you carry. Do carry a change of clothes, at least underwear, t-shirt, and socks that I can change. If I think I might get separated from my luggage, I will bring a small toothbrush and toothpaste in my carry-on, so I can at least brush my teeth and maintain some kind of hygiene. You can bring hand sanitizer to wash your hands, or you can even bring a little bar of hard soap. You don't need to get liquid soap. Just get a little bar of hard soap. You can get them at the travel section in Target or Walmart. You can even steal them from the hotels when you know, they leave the little soap at the Holiday Inns. Just take the damn soap with you and stick it in your travel bag. Most importantly, keep copies of your travel itinerary. I keep one at home. I take one with me on my carry-on, and I stick one in my luggage. Now, if I'm going somewhere I go a lot, I go from my house to Houston or Dallas. I have friends in Dallas. I lived in Houston for many years. I've traveled in Dallas for many years. I have friends. I have business offices there. I have resource locations I can go to in an emergency, right? If I go to, I don't know, Pittsburgh, I don't know as many people there. So I'm going to want to bring a map. I can drive through Houston. I don't need a map because I lived there for 15 years. I go to Pittsburgh. I don't know my way around as much. It's a decent city. The roads are okay. But I don't know my way around. So there I'd want a map to at least get me to a major highway so I can get the hell out of town. Most importantly, when you get to your hotel, get familiar with where the restaurants are, where your business locations are, or your family is, depending on what kind of trip you're making, and get to know how to get from A to B quickly, okay? I like arriving from my business meetings a day early, especially if it's in a city I'm not familiar with, because it gives me a whole day. If I fly in early, tell the boss, oh, I'm getting in early, it was a cheaper flight, and it usually is. I then drive around my location, so I get kind of the lay of the land, and I'm like, okay, there's a liquor store here, there's a restaurant here, there's a corner store here, there's a Walmart over here, and now I know if something happens and I'm in that hotel, I'm like, something just popped off before the public realizes it. I'm gonna haul ass to Walmart, in my rental, put extra water, extra food, etc., and get the hell out of Dodge. Now, when I stay in a hotel, I like to go to Walmart or Kroger or some other Albertsons and get a case of water for the hotel room, which will go with me if I bug out, as well as some snacks. So if it's a temporary thing, a day or two, and I'm stuck in that hotel room, I don't have to go out. I can actually sit back. I have resources in the hotel room. I can look out the window and kind of see what's going on. And it gives me, again, like I've said, prep for options, prep for a variety of choices if you can. I have food, I have water, I have a map, and I have a car in my hotel room. I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to take the flight back. Too risky. I'm going to stay here for a day because people are freaking out outside. I don't need to be out there. I'm going to stay in the hotel. But if I need to bug out, I'll bug out at 2 a.m., get in the car when everyone else is passed out and tired, and I'm going to get the hell out of Dodge. So when you're traveling, plan on contingencies. And I think that's a really important concept for everyone to think about. Have those amenities if you get separated from your checked luggage, if you wind up stuck in the hotel because there's a riot or a storm or something else has happened, or if the planes get shut down like they have repeatedly now. At this point, it's happened multiple times in the last 6 months all over the country and all over the Western world. You can say, you know what, I'm going to take all the food, snacks, everything. I'm going to load my rental car. I always leave my tank topped off with the rentals too. I got to do it anyway before I leave, right? And I'm ready to go. I can get the hell out of here. Even if I need to call ahead and say, find a coworker or a friend or a relative and say, hey, I'm headed back home. I got to stop at your town to get gas. I'll need a refill of water, and then I'm on the road again. Planning out those kind of contingencies make a huge difference when you're traveling and things go sideways. So anyway, folks, that's it for this one. You guys pay attention, be smart with what you're doing on the road. Plan your trips out, whether it's a flight, a boat, a train, a car, or you're backpacking through the country. I'm telling you, thing gets weird. What we want to do is stay ahead of the curve and have options. You want to prep for choices, if that makes any sense. Ladies and gentlemen, be good, be safe. I will see you all in my next video, and thanks for joining me.